Welcome back to Hardly Minding My Business. I am your host, Dashing D, aka Dash, whatever you want to call me. Either one will do. So this is Hardly Minding My Business. It's been a while, so I guess I should tell you what we do here. You know, we talk about all of the things. We talk about everything from pop culture to relationships and dating to current events to, you know, whatever's grinding your gears this week or mine. So I'm here and it's been a while. I have been on a very, 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 very long hiatus. Yeah, so this was not like anything that had happened previously where, you know, I dropped off for 2 weeks or something and then came back. This was me realizing that I just didn't have it anymore to give to a lot of things, the podcast being one of them. So I had to really take a step back. It was abrupt because it wasn't planned. Going into the end of the year, I spoke multiple times on Hardly about how I wanted to be more consistent and how I was actively trying to be more consistent. And that also like really fucked with my mind because I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I've said that I made this commitment. And I meant it when I said it. It's just that sometimes life gets in the way in ways that are beyond our control. And you have to be able to pivot. And I had to pivot. And I guess in figuring out what that pivot was, it also meant that I needed to take a step back from Hardly. I needed to kind of regroup about what I wanted to do here. But most importantly, I needed to figure out or try to manage and prioritize my life a little bit differently. As I'm sure you've probably seen, I've been doing other things. You know, Let's Have a Real Conversation is no longer. It has morphed and evolved into something else. So still the same great bones of that show, but it has evolved into Weeknights, which is a podcast that I do with my co-host JD for 5 nights a week. So that in itself at the beginning of the year presented its own challenges, had to kind of work out the kinks with that. But I think we're in a good groove now in terms of our recording schedule and getting that stuff done and working that out. So here I am before I record Weeknights actually, to talk to you about Hardly Minding My Business. So just real quick, I mean, I don't want to get into too much of why I was gone. It's a lot of personal things happened going into the end of the year, or rather a lot of personal things kind of came to a head at the end of the year. And going into the beginning of the year, I also was promoted at my job in January. So that brought on a lot more responsibility. Not only that, I mean, my team lost a team member in the midst of that. So work has just been absolutely insane the last few months and still continues to be that. And I'm working through that as well. But I really wanted to get back to this. I really wanted to get back to Hardly. I don't want anyone to think that I started doing something else and forgot about my baby. I did not forget. I just too much going on. It's very different to do a podcast by yourself versus doing a podcast with someone else where you can share the work. So please bear with me as I transition back into this process because it might be a little sketchy. It might be a little all over the place, but we're going to get it together. I am still committed to consistency. I am still committed to weekly podcasts. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. I'm also still committed to creating additional content. We're gonna allow this to be the leap pad for some other things that we're gonna do this year. So I'm excited about 2024. I know this is the end of Q1, and so a quarter of the year is already ending, but I'm really excited for the next few months, for the rest of the year. And I'm taking it one day at a time. Listen, the reasons that I left for so long still exist, but I'm trying to work it out. In life, you can't just, crawl into a hole and wait for things to normalize or feel better. You have to face it head on, and you have to figure out how to cope with it. So that is what I am doing. So yeah, that's a little bit about what's going on with me. I mean, I've been trying to, be outside a little bit more. And by outside, I mean, like go catch a movie here and there or go do this. I feel like I turned into the wildest, like super ultra homebody over the last couple of years, and I both love that and hate that at the same time. So I've been trying to be out and about a little bit more this year. I went to DC back in January. That was cool. Although I must say, it was freezing. It was freezing cold. It was snowing. I made the most of my experience. But yeah, what I really want to do, now that we're speaking about DC, I would love to go to the hip hop block party that they have every year at the Smithsonian African American Museum. So I'm gonna try to do that later on this summer. But yeah, I'm just trying to be more present and more in the moment, and I'm also just trying to get back on track with a lot of things that kind of just, had to take a back seat. So that being said, let me see. I tried to fire up my iPad and it just randomly died on me. So we're gonna see, because I have my notes for the episode. So let's start with our favorite petty or nah. This one is real easy, okay? Petty or nah, I have to say that if you don't speak to me or you don't have a desire to speak to me, if we've lost touch and you are not trying to regain touch, I don't know how you say that, but you are not trying to regain touch, my suggestion, and let me take myself out of it, just in general, if you do not wish to contact someone anymore, take their number out of your phone. Why are you keeping it there? Delete it. If you have no intentions of speaking to someone, delete their number out of your phone. It will save you the butt dial and the embarrassment of dealing with the butt dial. I mean, people you haven't spoken to in years, people that you have decided that you no longer want to contact, delete them out of your phone. I have had several instances in the last several months of people who have accidentally dialed me. One person thought that I was someone else. I don't know why I answered the phone. Typically, I don't answer numbers that I don't recognize. I did not recognize this number, but for whatever reason, I answered the phone. I could have been waiting on a delivery or something, I don't know. But my phone rings and I answer the phone and the person is like, hey, are you home? And I was like, person says my name, says my first name, and then says, are you home? And I'm like, huh? Who is this? They pause and then hang up. And I'm like, all right, this is really weird. This is really fucking weird. So I pick up the phone and I call and I'm like, and I'm trying to reach the person because I'm like, well, who who the fuck was that? They don't answer the phone. I later find out, because I actually take numbers out of my phone. I later find out that this is someone I know. I'm well acquainted with this person. They did not intend to call me. They made a mistake, but it was just, the whole thing was just bizarre. I had to go through a lot of different measures to figure out who this person was. And the only reason I was so pressed on figuring it out is because they said my name, and I was like, this is really strange. I don't know what this call is about, and I don't like the fact that the person is asking me if I'm home. Like, is somebody trying to pass through? Like, is somebody gonna show up and ring my doorbell? What the hell is going on? So I had to call around and try to figure out where this number came from. Eventually, I figure out whose phone number it was, and it was somebody who, you know, haven't spoken to in a long time. And it appears that, you know, they know someone else with my name. So think they thought they were calling that person and they called me instead. Save yourself the trouble and just like take my name and number out your phone. I just feel like that's reasonable, you know, because then you don't have to dial me accidentally. Yeah, that would alleviate that problem. But you know, what on earth do I know? Okay, I don't. What do I know? I don't know anything. So that's my petty or not. Like, save everybody the trouble of the awkward, oh, I didn't mean to call you, or the hang up, or, you know, me trying to figure out who you are or whatever. I mean, just like, can we do that? I don't know. What do we need to talk about? I don't know. That there has been so many things that have happened that we should probably talk about, but don't really want to go back there. I know Jonathan Majors hasn't been sentenced yet. I know we had been talking about that previously, but obviously there is a verdict in that case. We're not really going to go over that. I mean, once he's sentenced, then I guess we could talk about it again, but I just really don't feel like we need to bring it up here. What else is there? Can we talk about the NAACP awards for a second? So I spoke about the NAACP awards on weeknights in detail as far as what I saw, what I liked, what I thought was cool. But I wanted to talk about Kyla Pratt, because I feel like we don't talk about Kyla Pratt enough, and we should. If you don't know who Kyla Pratt is, I mean, she's a One-on-One fame, which was a very popular Black sitcom back in the early 2000s. And Kyla is also the voice of Penny Proud on the Proud Family. She's done a lot of different voiceover work. And she's really talented and really cute and sweet. And well, at least so she seems so. I be saying she's sweet, like I know these people. But Kyla Pratt is super cool. She even did a little Insecure episode when Insecure was still out. I think she was in season 4. Season 4, I believe, was the season where Issa and Molly, you know, were having their issues, and that was around the time where Issa went out and got scammed by those girls. And Kyla Pratt was one of them, so that was cool to see her there. She was hosting at the red carpet for BET at the NAACP Awards. I thought that was so cool, and I thought she was so good at it. I mean, amazing at it. So much so that Luke James looked like he had a little crush on her. I thought that was funny. Luke James was like, oh my gosh, Kyla Pratt, hello. You are Kyla Pratt. She looked at him like, I know I'm cute, but also my man and my kids, I'm just here to do this job. And I thought that was really funny. I think it's really cool to see certain people from the past that we were used to seeing in the past. I love it when they pop right back up and you get to see them again. So I thought that was really cool. What else we got to talk about? Do we need to talk about Beyonce? What I will say about Beyonce, y'all already know she has an album coming out next week. And y'all already know, you know, there's the country music is coming. I'm excited to learn about country is what I wanted to say, because I don't know a whole lot about country music. I know that Beyonce is going to put her Beyonce spin on it. In fact, she already said it is not a country album. It is a Beyonce album. but I'm really excited to learn a little bit more, to immerse myself in that a little bit more, or period, because I don't know anything about country music. I do appreciate all the people who have been pointing out all the Black country artists that exist that I guess a lot of us did not know about. I am so far removed from that culture that I'm kind of curious. And normally I'd be like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to listen to the album or not. But I'm definitely listening to it because I want to see. I want to know if I like it. Maybe I'll like it. Maybe I won't. I mean, who knows? I don't know. I feel like, can Beyonce really mess it up? I don't think she can. I don't think Beyonce does that. I don't think Beyonce would put out a country album if she thought that it wasn't going to do well. And obviously it'll do well because she has such a huge following. But also, I kind of feel like it's going to be good. 16 Carriages is great. Texas Hold'em is great. It's very catchy. It's always stuck in my head. It's like literally always stuck in my head. Me saying Texas Hold'em right now means that it's going to be stuck in my head for the next few hours. But yeah, I think that this is going to be really interesting and really fascinating to kind of get a glimpse of a part of the culture, or a culture that I am not familiar with. I am not a part of. But I'm happy to learn a little bit more about it, and through Beyonce's eyes, okay? And she says she has some good collaborations coming. I am so excited for the collabs because I'm over here guessing, like, her and Dolly gotta be doing something, right? I mean, why would her and Dolly gotta be doing something together? And if her and Dolly are doing something together, can her and Miley do something? I know a lot of people are like, oh, Miley's not all the way country. No, Miley's pretty freaking country. Now, I am not the one to say who is and who isn't, so maybe I shouldn't say that. But I would love, oh my gosh, Miley's raspiness with like the buttery smooth Beyonce Beyonce sound. Oh my gosh, I need that. Like, can the three of them do something together? I've been thinking about that a lot. People are also speculating that maybe she'll do something with Taylor Swift. Some people are saying absolutely not. Why would she ever? I can't put it past her because I really don't know. And there's so much controversy around the two of them that I could totally see them doing it just as like a gimmicky kind of thing. So I don't know. But if y'all know, let me know. But I guess we'll all find out on 3/29 when it comes out, because that's the plan, right? That is the plan. What else do we need to talk about? Oh, I was gonna mention Kate Middleton, but it kind of feels weird to mention Kate Middleton now. I mean, obviously, y'all know this is not really my ministry. I try to stay in my lane, and I try to, talk about things that I know a lot about, or things that are more akin to who I am and what I do. But the Royals have been in the news a lot lately, specifically Kate Middleton, because people can't seem to figure out where she is or where she has gone. I feel weird talking about it because news came out today about where she's been. She has been diagnosed with cancer. We don't know what kind of cancer, and honestly, I don't want to know. None of my business, none of your business. But I never want to hear that somebody is going through that. So I wish her well, her and her family, because that is not an easy thing to have to go through. So I just, well wishes to them. I've heard some things about her in-laws recently. You know who. Harry and Meghan. I've heard that Harry and Meghan have some things cooking up. I think Meghan's podcast, if I'm not mistaken, is over now. Is it? I never listened to it. I was never interested. And I love a good podcast. Y'all know I love a good podcast, but I was never interested. But apparently they got more stuff coming, more media stuff coming, and I think that's really interesting. I don't have a particular desire to hear what either of them have to say, like in terms of like giving their opinions, giving their commentary on things. I really don't know where like I fit in that conversation. So I'm gonna just leave that at that. And why don't we just wait and see what happens next, and then we can go from there. We can discuss it. If it's something worth discussing, we could discuss it. I also want to talk about Glo Rilla real quick. Did y'all see that Glo Rilla went to the White House? She went and was hanging out with President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. She looked like she had a good old time, and good for her. I don't really know what she was doing there, and that's fine. I don't need to know. I didn't do my research to figure out what she was doing there because irrelevant. But I think it's funny. She did a CNN interview afterwards, and she was asked, well, you know, do you know what they wanted from you politically? Like, do they want you to endorse them publicly? Like, what is your stance? And she was like, I don't really want to get into no political stuff. She was like, at the end of the day, like, I'm just living my life like it's golden. And start singing living my life like it's golden. She also proceeds to say, listen, I love everybody. I love the president. I love everybody. And that's really all it is. And she was like, at the end of the day gotta end. And that was the response. And it was like, oh, okay. At the end of the day gotta end. And you know what, girl? I get it. I get it, because that's not what you were there for. She was there to have her good little time, go up to the White House. Who don't want to go up to the White House and see what's going on inside the White House? You could barely get in. So I just thought it was cute and funny. I know that they do these things to try to curry favor with people who are popular, people who have influence. And Glo Rilla was like, listen, that's not what I'm doing over here. So y'all can do whatever y'all want to do, and y'all get mixed up in the politics in whatever way y'all want to get mixed up in it, but not me. Sorry, not me. So I thought that was really funny. I would like to move on to talk about what I've been watching, because I've been watching some things. I mean, it's been a while, but so I'll spare y'all and I'll give y'all what I've watched recently, like in the last month or so. I did watch Love is Blind. I saw the whole season. I saw the reunion. I thought it was, people have complained about previous reunions. I thought this reunion, they tried to like do things to make it more interesting. But the reality of the situation is, it was like they tried to divert us away from the really interesting stories and only give us so much information about what's going on. And I don't understand that, because these reunions are filmed a whole year after these people go to the altar. Why is it that you didn't have anything to say about Megan Fox and Jimmy? Tell me. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. AD and Clay, I'm not gonna give too much on AD and Clay, because I try to be mindful of Black people. I just feel like sometimes our business is our business. And this one feels that way. Like, I don't want to do too much with Clay and AD. But what I will say is, knowing what you need and understanding that and standing in that, I really respect AD for saying, well, I can't even, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and say it. I was of the mind that I respect AD for not wanting to be with Clay, or deciding that she's not going to be with Clay because he wasn't able to get there with her. But then it appears that maybe like they're fuck buddies or something, or she was like, yeah, we real flirty and, you know, real touchy feely when we see each other. We be around each other a lot, and we act like, you know, we together when we see each other. What does that mean? And it's fine. Like, whatever your business is your business. Don't get me wrong. Whatever your business is with that man is between you and that man. I have no place to judge. But Girl. Then don't walk around being like, I don't want him. Nope, because he, he did what he did, and I don't want him no more. No, girl, you want that man. You do. You do. And you know what? It's fine. Human nature. It's fine if you want that man. So I did watch that, but I know it's over, so I don't want to say too much about that. I watched Blood and Water. Actually, when I was getting my hair done, I started watching Blood and Water. I know they're on season 4. Season 4 was just released. If you don't know what Blood and Water is, it's set in South Africa. It's about some high school kids who get into some really adult shit. The main character, Pulang, it starts off letting us know that her sister has been missing for 17 years, and her family still holds out hope that someday she'll return home. And Pulang gets it in her head that she has figured out who and where her sister is. And it turns into this whole storyline around the fact that she's trying to figure out if this person is her sister and if her sister was in fact kidnapped. And it also goes through the regular hijinks that high school students go through with each other. So but it's a really interesting show. It's really good. I am working my way through it. So season 1, I'll say season 1 and season 2 were super easy to watch. I mean, I watched season 1 while I was getting my hair done, and I was done with it. But I was hooked. I was intrigued. I was like, oh, this is really interesting. I wasn't sure if I would like it, just because, I don't know that I'm still in that, Gossip Girl, that high school drama type of era. But it didn't bother me at all. I was like, oh, this is really interesting. It's because they be acting like adults. They go out, they have drinks just like the rest of us. They do all kinds of things that maybe teenagers should not be doing. But also they're in South Africa, so I'm assuming that the laws are different over there than they are over here. So there's that. I did start watching Quiet on the Set, the Nickelodeon doc that is on Max. That heavily focuses on Dan Schneider and his leadership over at Nickelodeon and all the foul shit he did. I started it, and I'm probably going to be watching it very slowly because I don't like to watch things about people harming children or doing things to children that are inappropriate. I don't like that sort of thing. But I am watching it because I don't know. I feel like I should. Somebody said that if you loved Nickelodeon growing up as a kid, you're probably your entire world view of what that was is going to be shattered by this documentary. I feel like I'm able to handle that. So I'm going to go through it. I've seen 1 episode so far, and yeah, already it's very eye-opening. Talking about the nasty shit that Dan was doing, all of the innuendo that he was interweaving into some of the storylines, into some of the names. When you look back at some of the costumes, some of the symbols that they used, images of penises and all kinds of stuff like that maybe you didn't catch 20, 30 years ago, but they're there. They are there. So yeah, I'm going to make my way through that documentary. I will talk about it more, but just know that there's some nasty shit in there. And if you are easily triggered, you may want to stay away from it because it is not painting Nickelodeon leadership in a good light at all. And again, it is about things that were done to or happened to children. So I feel like that's it for right now. I'll go through some more shows next week, but yeah, right now, I'm like knee deep in in Blood and Water. I'm really excited for this. What is it? American Society of Magical Negroes, that new movie that came out. I want to see that. I hope it's good. it looks interesting. I'm just not sure if it's going to hit the way that I would like it to, but it looks really interesting. So that's something that I'm going to check out. I will report back if I go and see it. I will let y'all know what I thought of that. And for tweet of the week, okay, so I don't know who posted this, and this might not be verbatim the way it was said, but oh yes, this is exactly the way it was said. So somebody posted a video of Whitney Houston input of her singing her ass off as she always did. And then the caption said that the tweet was, she ain't got no business being dead. And were lies told? I mean, I love Whitney Houston. Like, I am obsessed still to this day with Whitney Houston and her voice. And that's like my Saturday morning thing. I start cleaning the house. I either listen to a podcast or I turn on some Whitney Houston. I love me some Whitney. So, you know, that made me chuckle a little bit. And, you know, I feel like it probably would have made her laugh too. So, yeah, that is it. That's our show. Thank you for coming back to Hardly Minding My Business if you've been here before. And if you have not been here before, welcome, welcome, welcome. I will be back next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.